Right then, well, so this packet of biscuits, admittedly, normally I'd have twice the amount for in this packet, but if I paid 90p for this, which I think I did around about that price, yeah, if you multiply the cost of this packet of biscuits, or divide it, if you like, by the cost of the packet of biscuits that I used to buy from the van in Swindby Camp in Lincoln, I paid threepence, which was a quarter of 1 shilling, so that's the same as a quarter of 5 new p, what we paid, yeah? And so you got to divide 18 by 4, or yeah, you've got to divide 18 by 4. Well, no, that's not right. What you've got to do is you've got to multiply 18 by 4, because for each shilling I could have got 4 packets of McVitie's biscuits, about this size, not this size, yeah? So if I multiply 18 by 4, I'm going to end up with 72, aren't I? Because 2 18s are 36, and 2 times 36 is 72. So I could have got, for the price of this big packet of biscuits, I could have got 72 packets that are of this size. Can you see how much things have changed in price, inflation? No, I was saying my dad was corporal in the Air Force. And back in 1970, when I used to buy these packets of biscuits, he only got that £20 a week. Well, that £20 a week, yeah, fed a family, quite a big family actually. My dad and my mum and seven of us, 7 kids, 2 sisters and 4 brothers that I had, and with me that made 7. And yeah, to pay the rent, the heating. Mind you, we didn't seem to have much heating in those days. I was in the frost creeping up on the windows in the winter. And then, you know, food, transport. Mind you, we got help with transport to school and stuff. But you can see a massive difference. Now, when my dad left the Air Force, came back, we were in Germany at the time, came back to Lincoln, and my dad came to Monk's Road, didn't he? Not too far from the guy who used to drive the van to the Swindby Camp and sell us the biscuits. He found an house there. How much do you think he paid for it? Big house. Well, big by comparison, because it had 4 floors in the sense it had a cellar. It had the ground floor, so it had a front parlour and a back room, and then a pantry and a kitchen and pantry. Then on the next floor, it had 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. And on the 3rd floor, it had 2 bedrooms and a box bedroom. So it's a big place. How much do you think he paid for that? Price of that place, it used to be a bed and breakfast place, £4,300, something like that. £4,300. How much do you think it's worth today? Well, we've got to get it valued because unfortunately, sadly, my father died back in 2005. Some time ago now. We want to sell that property. How much do you think it's worth? Well, if you went to check the place out on the market, it's not anything special in one sense. It's in a town area, lots of traffic passing through, but it's got to be valued at £150,000 to £160,000. Well, £4,160,000. You can see there's a huge difference, almost the same difference as between my packet of biscuits and these packet of biscuits. Yeah. So, when you go out and you get these things through your door, I've got paper here, it's on my doormat when I got here. Look, the local paper, the Lincoln Target, nice blonde lady on the front. They say blondes have more fun, don't they? Looks like she has. Anyway, the papers are full all the time, aren't they? Not so many in this one. Of all this stuff, trying to get you to buy things, or trying to get you to buy certain things in particular places. And here, even Tesco's have got one in there, haven't they? Tesco's trying to get you to buy meat and toothpaste and showering stuff. Here, look, you can get any 3 of these different meat things for £10, or 4 for £12. That sounds like good value, doesn't it? Till you think But £10 is like, how many shillings would that be in old money? 20 shillings to the pound, 10 of them, that's 200 shillings. Well, £10, we wouldn't pay that for rent. You'd pay about £5 for your rent. In fact, when I moved to London to study, I had a little attic room, quite a small attic room, and I was paying something like about £3.75p for rent. I didn't have any food or anything, but I didn't have any heating bills, and I was able to cook there, and I didn't have any water bills or anything like that, so all in, £3, £4. I think eventually when I left there, about 1980, I must have been paying about £5 a week. It had gone up over the 6 years or so that I was there. So, you can see, if you went to a bedsit now, you'd be lucky if you could get one for £40 or £50 just for your accommodation in a week. Well, that's 100 times, well, sorry, it's 10 times as much, isn't it? That's 10 times, and more likely you're going to be paying nearer to £100, yeah? If you've got anywhere that's kind of decent. But certainly, you're not going to be paying £4 or £5 a week, are you? So we can see inflation is right now. When you're looking at all these things they're trying to get you to buy, here's farm foods, look. Farm foods. And here's one. Here, look, here's one from, is this McDonald's? I don't know if this is McDonald's. Look like, no, it's Burger King. They're all the same to me, all these burger places. I stopped into McDonald's on my way back from work the other day. I was busking in Nottingham. I stopped in McDonald's to use the toilet, and I think it's only fair, you know, you're using their facilities. I like to buy something when I'm in there. So I thought, well, what can I get that's not too expensive? Well, I don't know what. I like a bit of milk, I'll have a milkshake. So I don't know how much is a milkshake, thinking, well, it's going to be about £1, you know, 99p or something. Actually, I knew it wasn't. He said £1.49. £1, I ain't got it here, but £1.49 for a milkshake, which was about, yeah, big. It was a medium one. He says you can have a large one if you want for £1.69. He said. I said no, I'll just take the medium one. I don't want to be greedy or anything. Well, I wish I'd had the large one in the end. The little one, they didn't fill it up to the top either. They know what they're doing. It was supposed to be chocolate. There was no chocolate in it. Might as well have been vanilla. I didn't take it back because I was already on the road before I discovered it. If I go back in there, I'll give them a piece of my mind. I wanted chocolate. It tasted like vanilla. And it cost me £1.49. Well, when you think about that, £1.49, I could have got 4 pints of milk and more for that. And if I'd gone to pound land, I'd have got very nearly 4 pints. I think it's about 1.5 litres or something for £1. Yeah, because they do milk, large milk for about, for a pound, exactly a pound. And the thing is, you think, oh, milkshake £1.19, £1.20, £1.40, that's not too much. It's blooming loads, yeah? You could have got a chicken, roast potatoes, potatoes, and then you could roast them. You could have bought a packet of butter, probably half a dozen eggs, and if you eat bacon, and I don't, you could have got some bacon. You could have got all that for £1.49 back in 1975 even. Yeah? Could have got all those things and had yourself a decent meal for £1.49. And now, you know, people think, oh, get a little milkshake. No chocolate in it. So, don't be hoodwinked. We're living in blooming rip-off land. And where's all this money going? Well, it's all these people, I know a lot of these companies that make all this money, Tesco's and insurance companies and whatnot. Don't get me onto insurance, car insurance and house insurance and stuff like that, and mis-selling of insurance. But all these companies, all these profits, these huge profits, water company, you know, these huge profits, gas, electric, these profits go to the so-called investors who cream off all of this excess charges and all this inflation that they put on basic products, the necessities of life, water, heat, shelter, Yeah, rents are sky high, as I was saying. And it's all these fat cats, these Bullingdon Club guys with their investments and their links to bankers and probably the mafia too, that are making all this money. And those of us that have got pensions, we companies invest into these our pension funds, if we've got them, are invested into these companies, and so we're being creamed, if you forgive the pun, creamed to get all of this money from us to go into pensions and to go into the pockets of the fat cats and to go into the bonuses of the big rip-off bankers. No, I'm not very happy about that. So all this inflation that's been building up over the years, house price inflation, inflation of basic products and commodities, and now oil's going through the roof, yeah, because of the instability, but also because of greed and because of the marketeers, the blooming spivs in the city who kind of bet on all of these products, and hedge funds, and it's all just a blooming quagmire. That's what it is. It's all wickedness and deception and deceit, and we're paying for it. Anyway, and the poor farmers are paying for it. Now, I've been going on, but it's worth going on about. People are being hoodwinked. And prices are never coming down, are they? Just going up, up, up. Our wages are going down, our incomes are going down, but the prices are going up, and that money is going somewhere, and it's going to the crooks and the fat cats and the blooming politicians who are non-executive directors and advisors to these big companies that make all this money. So I've said enough now. I'm going to have to cut this right down because I've said so much been going on. In fact, I'm not be surprised if the camera's blooming stopped. I've been going on so much. Anyway, I'm a little bit tired actually, so I think I'm going to finish my banana, and then I'm going to have a little lie down and think about what we can do to stop these fat cats ripping us off anymore, taking the cream. Bye for now.